Welcome to Sleep for the Anxious Soul. My name is Joanne. I'm a sister in Christ. When I started this channel, I felt there was a real need for deep, steady comfort, especially at night when our minds get so busy, our thoughts get so loud, and our hearts feel unsettled. What began as simple guided nighttime prayers has gradually grown into something more intentional. Quiet place to slow down, to speak honestly before God, and to allow Scripture to steady us and guide us into who He is shaping us to be. This is not counseling. It's not a place of performance or spiritual pressure. It's simply a gentle space to kneel in the quiet of your heart with reverence and sincerity. Wherever you find yourself tonight, you are welcome here. So settle now. Take a slow, deep breath in and let it out. Again, in through your nose. Hold it. Hold it. And blow it out. There is nothing to prove, only truth and God's mercy. And as you're settling in, and as you fluff your pillow and get ready for a night's sleep, find the softest spot. And as your head sinks into it and your shoulders begin to drop, let me share something with you quietly. I know what it's like to lie down at night and feel tension in your neck, the ache between your shoulders, that stiffness behind your head that doesn't go away, that one. If your pillow does not support your neck, maybe you need a little change. There's a soft cervical pillow that I am warmly recommending, as it has a gentle shape to cradle the curve of your neck and support your spine, allowing you to get a better rest. I know it's a small thing, but sometimes small things are big things, and it could make a lot of difference in your night's rest. I'm going to paste the link below for you, just in case you need it. But for now, let's just settle. Find your spot. Let your body sink. And let me keep speaking over you. They will tell you his story is as though it is only about suffering. They will speak of the ash heap, the boils, of the losses, of the silence that fell over our house like a cloud that would not lift. But I knew him before all of that. I knew the man who rose before dawn. Not because the livestock demanded it. Not because the servants needed him. But because he wanted to be before God, before anyone else could claim his attention. Every single morning, without fail. I used to watch him from the doorway. He would stand still for a long time, just still. And I always believed in those moments that he was not thinking about the flocks, or the fields, or the 10 children sleeping in the next room. He was thinking about God. Early in the morning, he would sacrifice a burnt offering for each of them, thinking, perhaps my children have sinned and cursed God in their hearts. This was Job's regular custom. Job 1, verse 5. That was my husband. That was the man I watched build our life. Not on stone and timber alone, but on something he believed was far more solid than either. His integrity, his reverence. He never separated the two. People came to my husband. They would come to Job. I don't know if you understand what I mean by that. I mean, they found their way to our gate, the widow who had nowhere else to turn, the orphan who had been overlooked, the traveler who had walked too long without shelter. And they came, and he have never turned them away. Not once. I watched him peel himself away from a meal mid-bite, because word came that someone was at the gate with nothing. He would go. He always went. Because I rescued the poor who cried for help, and the fatherless who had none to assist them. The one who was dying blessed me. I made the widow's heart sing. Job 29, verse 12 to 13. I have heard people talk about generosity as though it is a transaction, as though you give so you get something back to you. Job did not give that way. He gave because he genuinely, quietly believed that everything he held was not truly his, that it all passed through his hands on its way to someone who needed it more. And he gave consistently, not just when the harvest was full, not just when the mood was light. He gave even when the year had been hard, even when giving cost something real. If I have denied the desires of the poor, or let the eyes of the widow grow faint, if I have kept my bread to myself, not sharing it with the fatherless. Job 31, verse 16 to 17. He He never could do that. He was simply not the shape of that man. He was kind in a way that did not perform itself. I want you to understand that, because there are men who are generous in public and cold at home. There are men who will bow to a stranger and ignore the people who eat at their own table. Job was not that man. He knew the names of his servants, not just the head servants, all of them. He asked about their families. He remembered when they were sick. He did not simply send someone else to manage them. He went himself. If I have denied justice to any of my servants, whether male or female, when they had a grievance against me, what will I do when God confronts me? What will I answer when called to an account? Did not he who made me in the womb make them? Did not the same one form us both within our mothers? Job 31 verses 13 to 15. That belief, that very person bore the same mark of our creation, was not a theology he kept locked in a prayer. He lived it. I saw it in the way he never spoke down to the men who worked in his fields, in the way he listened, really listened, when someone came to him with a grievance. He would sit. He would be still. He would let the person finish speaking before he ever opened his mouth in reply. That was rare then. I wonder if it is any less rare now. Men listened to me expectantly, waiting in silence for my counsel. Job 29 verse 21. He carried people's dignity as carefully as he carried his own. And that, more than anything, is what made them trust him. Friend, if this part of Job's story touches something tender in you, if you have been carrying your own losses quietly, if you've been walking through your nights alone, if you've been holding more than anyone knows, I want you to know something gently. You don't have to carry it alone. There is a small, peaceful family I send soft nighttime prayers to, gentle reminders of God's love, little whispers of comfort that feel the weight of the dark. If your nights have felt long, if your heart has felt heavy, you are warmly invited to join. The link is below whenever you're ready. You are welcome among us, dear one. You always have been. The word they used about him, blameless. I never heard him use it about himself. He was not a man of religious pride. He did not talk about his offerings or his sacrifices or his obedience as though they were achievements to be polished and put on display. He feared God, not in the way people fear a thunderstorm, where you flinch, where you wait for it to pass. His fear was more like reverence, like the way you instinctively lower your voice when you walk into a place that is sacred and still. In the land of Uz, there lived a man whose name was Job. This man was blameless and upright. He feared God and shunned evil. Job 1:1. He shunned evil. I want you to sit with that phrase for a moment. Not he avoided the obvious things. Not he was mostly good. He shunned it, meaning he moved away from it deliberately, carefully, with intention. I saw it in his business dealings. When a man came to him with an arrangement that would have profited us greatly, but dealt unfairly with someone who had no power to object. Job turned it down, without hesitation, without consulting me or anyone else. I used to ask him sometimes, quietly after the men had left, "Are you not frustrated? You could have." And he would look at me with those eyes, so steady, and say, "I could not have." Not and remained who I am before God. He guarded his heart with that same intentionality in every area of his life. When a man makes a covenant with his own eyes, that is a man of genuine and serious devotion. And then the day came. I will not pretend it was simple. I will not stand here and tell you that it was clean or easy to watch. It was not. In a single day, one day, the messengers came, one after another, and each one brought a news heavier than the last. The livestock, the servants, the fire, and then our children. I watched my husband receive that last word, and I will tell you what he did. He tore his robe. He shaved his head. He fell to the ground. And he worshipped. At this, Job got up, tore his robe, and shaved his head. Then he fell to the ground in worship and said, Naked I came from my mother's womb, and naked I will depart. The Lord gave, and the Lord has taken away. May the name of the Lord be praised. Job 1:20-21. I did not understand it then. I will be honest with you, there was a moment in those dark weeks that followed when I could not reach him. When the suffering had pressed so deeply and so long that I spoke words I am not proud of. His wife said to him, "Are you still maintaining your integrity? Curse God and die." Job 2, verse 9. I was broken, and I will not pretend otherwise. Loss does things to a person. It can make a desperate voice come out of a faithful mouth. I was in grief that I did not know how to carry. What I am telling you tonight is not about my worst moment. I am telling you about his. Even in that, even in his response to me, which was gentle, which was patient, even in his own agony, he did not curse God. He did not renounce what he had spent a lifetime building. He replied, "You are talking like a foolish woman. Shall we accept good from God and not trouble?" In all of this, Job did not sin in what he said. Job 2, verse 10. He held on. I don't know how, but he held on. What Job showed me, what I did not fully understand until much later, is that faith does not require silence and suffering. He cried, he argued, he questioned. He sat in the ash heap and said, with full and raw honesty, that he could not make sense of what had happened to him. Job 3, verse 3 says, "After this, Job opened his mouth and cursed the day of his birth." He was not performing peace he did not feel. He went to God with everything, including the parts that were ragged and untidy and full of anguish. And somehow, that honest conversation with God was not considered sin. It was considered relationship. But I desired to speak to the Almighty and to argue my case with God. Job 13, verse 3. There's something in that which I have held on to ever since. You do not have to be tidy before you go to God. You do not have to have resolved your grief before you are allowed to kneel. Job went in in the fullness of his pain. And he went honestly. And God met him there. And then God is who he is. He keeps turning up. Not when Job had cleaned himself up, not when he had finished grieving, not when he had said the right things in the right order, but after Job prayed for the very friends who had caused him additional pain in his suffering, after he extended grace to them, after Job had prayed for his friends, the Lord restored his fortunes and gave him twice as much as he had had before. Job 42, verse 10. Twice as much. The Lord gave back abundantly, deliberately, what had been taken. New children, new flocks, and new seasons. And something that cannot be listed among the livestock, a deeper knowing, a faith that had been tested in fire and had not melted, a soul that now knew, not just believed, that God was present even in the place where no presence seemed possible. The Lord placed the altar, the latter part of Job's life, more than the former part. Job 42, verse 12. I stood beside that man. I watched him go in. I watched him come through. And I can tell you, the thing I most want you to carry with you into this night is that the God who held him all the way through is the God that's holding you. Not just at the beginning, not just at restoration, in the middle, in the ash heap, in the silence, in the nights that felt endless. God was there. And sweet friend, if this part of Job's story stirs something in you, if you feel God gently rebuilding places in your heart, if you sense him restoring things you thought were gone, I want to offer you something softly. There's a small, peaceful space where I've gathered more for you. Prayers, scriptures, gentle guides for your walk with God, resources to help you grow, heal, and rest in him. It's our pay-hip store, a quiet place created with love for hearts like yours. If our prayers and messages have been a blessing, you are warmly invited to visit and explore whatever speaks to your heart. There is a curated list. You might have to open it and download it, but there's a list there of sleep products that could be helpful for you in your night's sleep. The link will be below. I have been thinking about what I want to say to you in these final moments. I have been thinking about you, lying there in the quiet, about what it is you might be carrying into this night. Maybe it is a grief that no name came yet. Maybe it is a relationship that has grown cold and you do not know how to warm it. Maybe it is a loss you have been circling for months, quietly, carefully, because you are not sure you can look at it directly. Maybe it's a fear, the kind that settles into the chest at night and makes it hard to breathe slowly. Maybe you are simply tired, bone tired, the kind of tired that sleep does not always fix, because it's not your body that is weary. It is your soul. I know that kind of tired. I've lived inside of it for a long season. And I want to tell you, what I need you to hear before you close your eyes is this. Job did not have all the answers. He never received a full explanation for what had happened to him or why. After all those chapters of questions, after all that anguish, all that waiting, all that silence from heaven, God's answer, when it finally came, was not a theological breakdown. It was a presence, a voice out of the whirlwind, not a list of reasons, not a defense, just God showing up, speaking, being there. Brace yourself like a man. I will question you, and you shall answer me. Where were you when I laid the earth's foundation? Job's 38, verses 3 to 4. Do you hear what God is saying in that? He's not scolding Job. He's reminding him of something enormous and tender at the same time. He is saying, I was there before the first morning. I set the cornerstone while the stars sang together. I shut the sea behind its doors when it burst from the womb of darkness. And I have not left. I have not looked away. I have not forgotten your name. That was enough for Job. Not the answers, not the explanation, not a reversal of everything that had been taken. Just God, present, speaking, knowing Him. And I want to ask you something softly, right now, in the quiet of this moment. What if that is enough for you too? Not the resolution you have been praying for. Not the door that finally opens. Not the phone call, or the healing, or the answer that you have been standing at the window waiting for. Just Him. Just his presence. Here. In this room. In this darkness. In this night. Can I tell you something that still undoes me, even now, after everything? When Job said those words, my ears had heard of you, but now my eyes have seen you. He had lost everything. He was sitting in ashes. His body was broken. His friends had failed him. I had failed him. And yet in that moment, that devastated, stripped back, nothing left a moment, he saw God more clearly than he ever had when the flocks were full and the children were laughing and the house was whole. My ears had heard of you, but now my eyes have seen you. Job 42, verse 5. There are things that only suffering can show you. I do not say that lightly. I do not say it as a comfort that costs me nothing. I say it as a woman who has sat in the ruins of her own life and found, to her utter astonishment, that God was already there, waiting, quiet, steady, present in a way that the good seasons had never quite revealed. When everything else is stripped away, the noise, the pains, the busyness, the voices of other people telling you what to think and feel and do. What remains is just you and God. And that, I have come to believe, is not punishment. That is intimacy. So I want to speak directly to the part of you that is afraid tonight. The part of you that is whispering, what if it does not get better? What if this is too far gone? What if I have waited too long, prayed too little, drifted too far? I want to speak to that part of you and say, gently, firmly, with everything I have, no. The God who spoke to Job out of the whirlwind is the same God who is in this room with you right now. The same God who was present in the ash heap, in the lowest, loneliest, most stripped back place a human being can occupy, is present in your lowest point too. He has not turned his face from you. Not once. Not ever. Not even in the moments when it felt most certainly like he had. And I will tell you something else. the morning always came. For Joe, the morning always came. After the longest night, after the silence that stretched so far it felt like it would never end, after the ash heap, after the grief that had no floor to it, morning came. And it will come for you. That may be your testimony too, sweet one. Not just that you heard about God, but that in the nights that cost you something real, something deep, something you could not put your words into. In those nights, you have seen him. In the waiting, in the losses, in the places that made no sense and offered no comfort and gave nothing back. In all of it, he was there. He is here. Right now. In this room. In this stillness. In this night. And he will be. Still. And always. And faithful. When morning comes. And now, my dear friend, may the Lord surround you with his peace, be present with you in every place of fear, and lead you gently into deep and restful sleep. May you rest knowing that you are never alone, that God is with you, even in the places that feel uncertain. And now, with a tender kiss of comfort, your reminder that you are safe, loved, and held. I send you into his care. Good night.